Alright everybody, these are the new Motorola APX6000 portable radios, VHF, high band, whichever way you want to call it. Each of the three engines are going to have one right at the moment. Eventually there'll be one for every seated position in the apparatus. Right now they'll be in the officer's seat only. I was able to get these through some grants. Hopefully we'll get some more money with another grant to be able to purchase the rest of them. So let's go through some of the features on this portable. First of all, it is submersible. It can go up to 6 feet of water for up to 2 hours, fully submersible. As you notice on the top, there's some very large knobs. The one on the left here is the volume knob.
Sensor fire.
And you notice as soon as you turn it on, the display lights up. It tells you what frequency you're on. The little Z on there tells you you're in scan mode. And if you turn around the front of it, it also does the same thing. It tells you you're in the zone for town of Spencer, and you're in Spencer Fireground. The knobs are quite big. They're user-friendly for firefighters with gloves. And also, as you can see, they're difficult to turn, and they're made that way so you don't bump it, turn it on, or turn it off, or anything like that. This button here is the selector switch for the channel, and you'll see the display changes.
And 2 repeater.
As well.
Sensor fire ground 2.
And you'll also hear the voice prompts as well.
Sensor fire ground 3.
So.
Sensor fire. Sensor fire.
So the prompts are there. Right now we're in the town of Spencer zone. So if we want to change the zones, we go to this button where it says zone up. And it's going to tell you there's interoperability. And this is where we should be at. It should say Spencer Fire and Fireground. The other ones you have say District 7. That's got orange and stuff like that in it. If you turn it, orange, red, stuff like that. District 7 and 10. MEMA frequencies. VTAC. And back to town of Spencer, that just have all our town frequencies. And then back to that. And I skipped it. So it should say Spencer Fire and the Fireground. Channel 1 and 16 of every single bank will be Spencer Fireground, because that eventually will be the frequency that we're going to be using. This button here does the clock. Tells you the clock, date, and time. To get out, it says exit. This button here is the nuisance delete, the center one. So if you have it on Spencer Fireground and someone is talking and it comes up, say Lester, and you don't want to hear it, if you push that button there, it'll blank that one channel out of the scan bank until you either shut off the scan, turn it back on, or you turn the radio off and on. The home button is only to be used when you're into the radio itself. Let's get to another of these features here. We talked about the scan feature, and if we light that up, that Z there, this switch up here in the top, right here, A, B, and C, it's on B, that means it's scanning. If we put it to A, that Z goes away, it's no longer scanning. If we go back to B, and if we go to C, it's no longer scanning. So, and then this selector in the front, it's got like a 0 and then a 0 with a line. As long as it's within the 0, it talks when you do it.
Car 1 and 2 repeater.
But if you put it to that, it mutes it. So you don't hear anything out of it. Okay, so make sure it's in the 0 position. This button here is the emergency button. There's one also located on top of the speaker mic. If you push that, it comes up emergency, flashes in orange, and it's doing the same thing over our frequency. It's putting out a thing over our frequency beeping, so it tells you it's an emergency. So you got to shut your radio off, turn it back on, and that clears it out of it. So it's a real rugged portable. It's designed so it can be dropped, anything else. It's got a little bar around it to try to protect the top a little bit more. It's different than the police department's portables. If you notice, they don't have this. The buttons aren't as offset. And that's the police department talking right now. And see, it says Police 1. The radio itself, like I said, is real rugged. It's lime green, so if you drop it or something like that, you can find it. The speaker mic itself has a push-to-talk button as well right here. This only lights up the light. This other button is your volume control on the top. This little clip will twist and turn, so you can put it any way you want, or you got a little hook on it. When it's in the apparatus, just make sure that this little hook is over the antenna like so there's no strain on the antenna or anything like that. Don't clip it or anything like that. You're going to put a lot of strain on the antenna. So these portables are designed, so this here has the microphones in the front. It doesn't have them in the back or anything, so you got to speak into it from the front. It's designed so you don't get that ambient noise in the background like a truck running or anything like that, or a saw. You're going to hear the voice. These portables have a microphone in the front and in the back, so it doesn't matter which way you hold it. You can talk into either way. To go over a couple of these other buttons, this one here is the monitor button. You'll see the little speaker come up on the screen. That takes the PL off. If you hold it down, it keeps it off, and then you got to shut it off to turn it back on to reset it. The second button here is for the light. And the third button down on the bottom changes this screen over here, I believe. Yeah, it brings it to the to this other screen here. You'll see it says radio info, and that just has your. If you go to that, you can select it with this button. It just has the serial number and whatnot, different versions. You can go back. But this down here, it says control map. If you click on that, it tells you what all those side buttons stand for. All the buttons, what they stand for. So you see Brookfield Fire going out right now.
Dispatch Brookfield Fire personnel activated fire alarm 37 Central Street, the school.
So if we wanted to, there's that nuisance delete. We want to shut it off.
Again, Brookfield Fire personnel activated.
And of course, they're doing both frequencies, so you had to shut them both off. But they're now off out of the scan bank until I turn it back on. So this is your push-to-talk button. That's the monitor. That's your light, and then that gives you that other display. If you hold down that light button, you see you got your display up on top. It says Spencer Fireground. If you hold that second button down, you hold it down. It flips the screen so it goes the other way. And there it's back. So the portables are really, really rugged. This comes right off, unscrews the little thumb screw. If you break anything on it, even the speaker mic, this comes off. If I take the set screw out, I can pull it off, change it right in the field. I can change this in the field. And as they're talking, you notice there's little bars and stuff on it that come up on it to tell you what the audio quality is. And there's also on the top of this, right there, is a battery indicator. Battery indicator, just like on a cell phone. And there's one also on the front display of this as well. Okay, so these are in the apparatus now. Also on the desk, there'll be this book here is the user guide. Go through it, and everybody's going to get a little cheat sheet here, and I'm going to mark off on the cheat sheet what all the buttons are. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I'm going to throw a little short one, kind of squeeze it up a little bit and put in the apparatus too, so you know what buttons are what. So every truck has them now. They're all labeled. Engine 2, this is the officer's seat. SFD Engine 2. They got stickers on them and stuff. Each truck has them. And just come down and take a look at them, play with them, or whatever you want. And remember that the Fireground channel is not at the police department, but it's in all our portables and our mobiles. The SFD, the repeater channel for myself, Deputy Chief Locke, and Engine 2's repeater are on there as well. So, very similar to the radios that we have in a ladder, except they're Motorola. And should be a lot more ruggeder and things of that nature. So, play around with it, and we'll see what we can do. And these are the new portable radios, Motorola APX6000EX for the Spencer Fire Department.